Okay, so I'm reading on r/Final Fantasy how to pronounce Titus's name. Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, his Japanese name is Tida. I'm on the Final Fantasy wiki. I don't know how valid this is, but go ahead, share your information, and I'll share mine.
Okay, one of the biggest naming things I have noticed in this series. How do you actually pronounce his name? He was never called by name in the cutscenes in the game he came from.
I can't fucking believe they did that. Is that so? Is this a situation where, like, similarly to like a Pokemon, I suppose, you name the character yourself, but they never have like
No, I don't.
like
What?
they have their
No.
own like canon name.
Did you?
Like, you know how like Red's name in Pokemon, his name is Red, but you name him whatever you want to.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Right.
But I don't think that was the case. I don't remember, but I don't think so. Okay, it goes on. There's a problem. Waka calls him Tidus in Kingdom Hearts 1. However, in Kingdom Hearts 2, when Selphie is talking to Kairi, she calls him Titus.
What?
Apparently, they don't fucking know.
Okay.
Nobody
According
knows.
to the Final Fantasy Wiki, since Tidus is never directly referred to by name in audible dialogue, instead being referred to using impersonal pronouns like you, him, new guy, and brudda, the pronunciation of his name among fans is sometimes unclear. His name in Japanese is slightly different, approximately pronounced Tida, and therefore the assumption is the first syllable will be pronounced the same in his English name. The pronunciation of his name was first confirmed in an official localization in Kingdom Hearts, which, like you said, features him in a cameo where his name is pronounced Tidus. But then later on in the same passage, it says the same thing in Kingdom Hearts 2. Although Titus doesn't appear, Selphie mentions him pronouncing his name Titus.
Okay, listen up. I figured it out. This
Okay.
bro Reddit commenter /over says it's pronounced Titus. It means sun in the Okinawan dialect, just as Yuna means moon. A lot of people use Kingdom Hearts 2 to back up the Titus argument, but Kingdom Hearts 2's voice recording was handled by Disney and not Square. So Disney fucked up.
What's that guy's Reddit username?
/over.
Thank you, Flash-Over. You settled a topic of debate that I was seriously concerned about for 5 entire minutes there. Thank you.
What? Fucking, I remember, like, it was such a common, like, playground. You say playground? Schoolyard?
We say playground, yeah.
Schoolyard thing. Like, you know, the fucking Mew behind the truck.
Yes, of course.
I remember, like, pronunciation of, like, Pokemon names and things was always one of them. Like, fucking, like, Rattata.
Oh, yeah, I always said Rattata. I had people who said Ratatat, and I'm like, there's no T at the end.
Yeah, I also did. And people would always, like, Rayquaza or whatever.
Yeah, I always said Rayquaza. Nowadays, I tend to just, like, if there's any sort of... Now that I can speak Japanese now, so if there's any even, like, slight discrepancy, I'll just fucking look up their Japanese name and match it to the best of my ability.
Arcanine.
I still say Arcanine, yeah. It's hard with Pokemon because most of the time, especially in Gens 1 and 2, their English name is totally different from their Japanese name. They're not pronounced anything alike. They're totally different words.
Okay, how the fuck do you say that one Pokemon who Magikarp evolves into?
Gyarados.
Is that
I know he has...
canonical?
See, I know he has a Y in his name. I don't know. I'm not even sure what his Japanese name is, but I can look it up right now.
Yeah.
You heard it here
Yeah.
first, folks. Take Japanese classes, and you'll be able to pronounce the Pokemon names.
Yeah, Gyarados.
His name in Japanese is Gyarados. So there is supposed to be a Gyarados there. When you kind of run it together in English, it still sounds like Gyarados, but...
I remember I think I had friends who said, like, Gyarados or some shit.
I never heard anyone say Gyarados. We watched the anime. They always pronounced it Gyarados without the Y.
There was a lot of people who didn't watch the anime who played the game in my schoolyard.
Oh, no, it was the total opposite. There were more people who played... there were fewer people who played the game than watched the anime, but almost everyone I knew who played the game also watched the anime, so there was never any sort of discrepancy. There was always I know it's pronounced this way because the TV man said it this way.
TV man.
The TV man, Ash catch them.
What did you what did you name your character? Do you have like okay when you were a child and you were like you
Yes.
started up your new like Professor Oak says what the fuck's your name?
What's your name? Yeah.
What do you say?
Matt.
Like you've always said Matt.
Matt. Always, ever since I was a kid. I still do that now. When I go for my 100% completion runs, I use the canon name. But when I play a Pokemon game for the first time, Matt. That's my name.
Okay, is that for like all games where you can name your own dude?
No. In Zelda, I always use Link. And if it's not a Pokemon game, it depends on how I feel that day.
I fucking love in video games like RPGs, like, especially like JRPGs, where there's like this like massive epic moment, you know, where you like walk in and the king is like, "You have done, you have saved the kingdom, and your honor will forever be remembered." Matt.
Tyler.
Derek. Hey, welcome to another episode of Super FX, the show where, if anyone asks, Matt definitely did not kill a cricket moments before we started recording.
Come on, dude.
Absolutely is not a cricket murderer. Absolutely,
Thank
100% he's not.
Thank you so much.
I'm Tyler,
I'm Matt.
and this is episode 28. We're back. It's season 2.
It's season 2. How you been, buddy?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for sticking with us while we figured our shit out. We've got a whole host of fun in store for this season of Super FX. And we're kicking it off right now with a banger of an episode, as we're pleased to have a very, very special guest join us today. He's got the speed. He's got the power. It's the one and only Game Dave. Dave, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, of course. Hold on. Let me kill this Spricket real quick, and then we can get
Hey,
it.
come on, man.
Oh, God. I can't believe I'm surrounded by 2 insect murderers.
Just one.
Just
one
one.
insect murderer, and it's Dave.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate
Yeah.
the invite.
Yes. No, thank you very much, Game Dave. Can I call you Game?
Yep.
Does
Okay.
you prefer Mr. Do you prefer Mr. Dave?
Mr. Game.
So, yeah, welcome to our show. Dave, I have done translation work for one of Game Dave's videos, and I've met him a while ago, a couple of years back, at a RetroWorld Expo, and we just kind of kept talking and never stopped talking, and now here he is.
Here I am.
the
More
digital
translation
flesh.
work in the future for that. Well, I won't reveal that episode now,
Oh, thank you,
but
baby.
I think I've already hinted to you what that was. It was musical, if you remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
That's
I'll be
coming.
honest, I don't remember everything because
It's coming.
it was a couple months ago when you first told me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait until you tell me again.
Yeah. I'll need you to translate
But,
some classic Japanese children's songs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite. Let's go.
Okay, well, I'm just going to be here completely in the dark until this comes out, so that'll be fun for me and everybody else
Well,
listening.
It's going to be a
Well,
real
turn
bop,
on a light.
as the kids say.
Yeah, it's
A
gonna
real
be
bop.
a real bop boot.
Real bop. This episode, bussin'.
Oh, thank you, Dave. We're
Is that a compliment? I don't know what that even means.
so one of my students is pretty young. He's 11, and he refers to the Spanish language as quote bussin' because it's much easier than English, and I take that as a compliment.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know you've made it as an instructor when your kids refer to your topic as bussin'. I feel like you've really made it. The children have embraced your teaching methods, and they would like you to continue teaching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see that's the thing. It wasn't my teaching that was bussin'. It's Spanish as a whole that's bussin'. So
Yeah, but
thank you,
sold
Spain.
them. You sold them on it.
Yes. You
Yeah, I
sold
guess.
them. You were just bussin', man. Bussin'.
Thank you. Oh my god, it's so many compliments all in one day. It makes me forget about that cricket Dave killed.
Spricket specifically, which is
Spricket,
really just
right.
a mutated horror of a cricket.
Can somebody tell me what a spricket is?
Oh my goodness. Maybe it's a Delaware thing. Sprickets? You don't know what sprickets are?
Is this a real thing or are you just like screwing with us?
No, this is really. So sprickets.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
okay,
Sort of a
please.
slang term for those crickets that also look like they're mixed with spiders. They're horrifying looking. Google spricket and you'll
Oh.
see, and you'll be like,
Oh,
those
yeah.
horrible things.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at it right now.
I don't know what they're
Camel
actually
cricket.
called, but their slang terminology is spricket.
Yeah, apparently they're really called camel crickets, and I've never seen one of these things.
Joe
Yeah, this is terrifying.
cricket. Joe Camel cricket.
This is a thing you have in Delaware? I live not far from you, Dave.
Yes, occasionally we'll. Now, there's no sprickets in this house, but in our old house, we would occasionally run across sprickets.
According to Wikipedia, they're also called land shrimp sometimes.
Man,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
them land shrimps.
Dear Lord, am I ever glad I don't have to deal with this thing?
Yeah, no, you just have negative 40-degree weather. What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think I prefer that to this horror that I'm looking at.
Same. I prefer the cold to many things.
I
Lord.
See, the thing is, I'm not afraid of insects. It's spiders that bug me. So if I saw a spricket, I think I'd get startled at first, but then I'd be like, "Aw."
No, they jump.
No.
They jump cray cray. So you gotta.
They jump?
Get you. No, they jump.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine they're jumpers. They're sprickets, after all.
Yo, they got mad bunnies. Those sprickets. They got crazy jumps.
The sprickets be bussin'.
Bussing with mad bunnies.
Shut up! Oh my god,
fellas, should we talk about video games? The show.
I was
the thing that
just
our show
about
is-
to ask. It's either that or we talk about Mountain Dew. So what's it going to
Yeah,
be?
you know what else is lit? Video games.
I enjoy video games. Dave, do you want to tell us what you've been playing recently? That's usually how we start off.
Well, when I do have time to actually play games, it's usually on my stream. That's like my one time. Is like I can actually just play games.
Yeah.
I recently revisited the Way of the Samurai series on the PlayStation 2, the first two games, which are certainly acquired tastes if you ask my chat. They did not enjoy themselves, but I was I was having a heck of a time.
Oh, did you select those yourself?
Yes, yeah, they don't have much say in it, which I think irritates them. And then prior to that, I was playing a little taste of the Choaniki series.
Ooh,
If you're familiar with that Japanese
familiar,
exclusive.
but just haven't played it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're interesting. Yeah, big muscular men using their protein power to battle in a shmup style series.
Tyler, have you played that?
Interesting. No, I haven't played it either. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, there's
but
these two
that
muscle
said,
guys
like
and they
my
shoot-
knowledge of like Japanese video games is kind of ends at I don't know.
Nintendo.
I was gonna say Konami.
So, if you're saying it ends at Konami, does that mean that there's a spectrum that starts from one company and ends with another?
Yeah, sure. I don't know what that
So what's
is.
the
If you're,
start-
if
what's
you're
the
waiting
start
for me to
point?
lay it out.
It's a start
I
point Taito.
No, I don't know, like Toei.
Takara Tomy.
All the way to Konami.
Or as everyone else seems to say, Takara.
That's, you know what, you bring up a very interesting problem about speaking Japanese, which I'm going to go on record and say this right now as a Japanese speaker. A language like English, we have syllable emphasis, so a word like perfect is way different from the verb form perfect because of the way that the syllables are emphasized. But a language like Japanese, and other languages do this too, like French actually, they don't have syllable emphasis. So technically speaking, the way a Japanese speaker would pronounce it is takara, but if you say it takara as an American, it's not technically wrong, but it sounds weird.
Yeah, now, not to an American, though. Most North Americans,
Yeah.
I think, just assume, because, that brand does exist on things in America, and they just wouldn't know. And it's hard for me, because I think I probably said Takara for the longest time, or Takara Tomy, and then later it was like, oh, wait, it's Takara Tomy. Yeah.
I was the same way. I said Takara and like Bandai for a very long time. And now that
That's the one it's hard for me to say Bandai instead of Bandai. It's tricky.
well, see, I don't bother putting the accent on if I'm just speaking English. I'll just say Bandai. But yeah, sometimes I'll still accidentally slip a Bandai in there. Just,
Yeah.
hurt myself a little scrapey wapey in the driveway. Put a little band-aid on my elbow.
Yeah, I wish I had some more common games that I've been playing recently, but really it's been that. And then, Switch Sports. I've been enjoying Switch Sports.
Tyler, have you actually played that? Because I picked up my copy when it came out, and it's still sitting on my shelf, and I haven't touched it.
I have played a good chunk of it. There are two things that I absolutely adore about that game. The first is that when you create your character, I don't know, it's not a me. It's like, I don't know.
It's a Nintendo Switch
sports guy. I don't know. You have an option to give your guy a like a cool phrase tag thing that goes along with your name. And mine that I went with was so that you have a first name and a last name, but I don't know, I forget what they call them, the little gamer tag basically things, titles maybe that they call them.
Yeah, I think it's titles.
And some of the options are like so-called, and then the second one will be like grandpa, or like forever extreme.
Wait, you know what? I think they did that in Miitomo, the smartphone app.
It's definitely not the first game to do.
So what is your
like
title?
This. I went with the coolest one ever. It's called Online.
Oh, double dose of online. Mine is Thanks, Dad.
There are some good ones. That might have been the most fun I had in that game, was us sitting around on the couch and deciding what our little titles would be. The second best thing about this game, and actually I really adore, is fucking Spoko Square. Spoko Square is a exceptionally cool place that I would love to be at. It gives me vibes of Woohoo Island, where I remember when Wii Sports Resort came out, Nintendo talked about, or should I say, Nintendo talked about how the game's main character was really Woohoo Island, and I think I feel the same way about they
said that.
Yeah, hold on, let me fuck up. Let me find it. There's
Let me find. I guess I'll link this in the
Island
description.
That's what they said. There's like a quote.
I love how you suddenly got so defensive. Yeah, they said. Are you doubting me?
Don't question it.
Okay, Miyamoto wants Wii Sports Resort Island to be a character. One part of Nintendo's business has been creating a whole host of characters which we have then licensed out, explains the impish designer. But I have always thought, seeing as we are a games company, that in addition to characters resembling people, why couldn't we also turn the actual stages of games into characters? He talks about Woohoo Island being a character.
Okay, more power to him, I guess.
I don't know. Anyway, Kim, back to my point. Spoko Square. Spoko Square? I think it's Spoko Square. It's a cool place, and I have tried to look into if there is like a real world equivalent of this like plaza that they've done, like that's, I don't know, like in like Hong Kong or something. I feel like would have something like this, where it's like a library and a cafe and a restaurant and like a sports arena and a swimming pool and like all of this stuff. Like that place is just gorgeous. You play that game and you're like, I just want to be in that place. I don't care that I'm playing bowling or whatever. Like, I just want to go to this place and hang out with my buds.
Yeah, man. You want to go together?
Yeah, let's hang out at Spoko Square. Super FX meetup in Spoko Square. Anyway, it's good. It's it's Wii Sports again. It's just in kind of a new setting that seems to be pretty cool. It's not a game that I would play solo. It's a game that I would definitely have to have some friends over, to really enjoy.
That's the most I've played it, but I really wish they had gone with that original title, Wii Sports Again. That would have been a good title for the game.
Probably would have sold a little bit better, I imagine.
Wii Sports Nintendo Switch Edition.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. What do you two like? What's the sport that you feel you play the most? When I grew up with Wii Sports, I definitely played bowling the most.
Yeah, I think that's the most popular.
It's still bowling for sure. They have tennis. The sword. The sword one's kind of interesting. Gambara. It's fun. It's got that good like that good motion control feel where it feels like pretty 1-to-1. you know, like how you remember Red Steel, and everyone saw that for the first time when they announced the Wii. Everyone's like, oh my god, like I want to do that, and then you played it and it kind of was garbage. But then they released the Wii Motion Plus, and it was a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that sword play that everybody always wanted with motion controls. Like it feels good, but I mean, like the bread and butter is the bowling.
Yeah, I like the alliteration there. Thank you.
Dave, any other games that you've been big on lately?
Let me think. I've been playing. Played some Radiata Stories.
Ooh,
the
that's what I
PS2.
never really
I
got
haven't heard
into.
of.
Yeah, I've definitely been having some PS2 love lately. On my stream. But other than that, I'm just waiting because there's a lot of things coming down the pike here that are going to be interesting. So.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna have to get Dave back on to find out what those interesting things very well may be.
Very
Matt,
JRPG-ish.
ooh,
Oh, and Live Alive. I did play Live Alive as well.
is that any
Yeah,
good?
how was that?
It's good.
Right
good.
on.
You heard it here first, folks.
Here, I'll maybe I'll go next because I also played a JRPG, which is very unusual for me as I'm not normally a JRPG guy. But I did play a little bit of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. It's very, it's the most like Atlas-y game I think that you know when like you play an Atlas game, you're like, oh yeah, it's an Atlas game.
Yeah.
It's that. It's good. I'm not a JRPG guy. I'm also not a visual novel guy. And this is definitely like visual novel to the bone. It's not something I would have played on anything other than Switch, which I feel like is kind of a tired phrase these days of, oh, this game's great for Switch. This game was made for Switch. But it is like it's something you can play in bed. Can you pick up for 15 minutes? It's 13 anime characters interacting and defending the Earth from a horrible kaiju that is trying to wreak havoc. It uses a lot of sci-fi tropes, but kind of like in a loving way. It's not like it's ripping them off or anything like that. And the way that the stories intertwine is quite interesting. And then the other kind of half of it is it's like a strategy mech game. And it kind of has you play back and forth as the story progresses between the two modes. Pretty interesting, worth playing. I was surprised that it got a physical Switch release. I picked it up on sale and actually popped it in and played it, which I was also surprised about. But I enjoyed my time with it. I don't know if I'm gonna like actually go back and 100% it. But if you're into visual novels at all, it seems that it was quite slept on when it came out a couple years ago. So definitely worth a try. I've also been playing the new classic Kirby spin-off game, the annual Kirby spin-off game, Kirby's Dream Buffet. Is it
How
called
is
Dream
that?
Buffet?
I was curious. It's like a party game, right?
It's like if you had, okay, so when Mario Party has a mini game that's like way better than all the other mini games in Mario Party.
Yep.
And you kind of just want to play that one over and over. But you would never maybe pop in Mario Party just to play that mini game. It's kind of that.
It's that mini game. Okay. So
Yeah.
it is definitely a budget title.
Yeah, I did feel a little, like $15 was a big ask for it. It kind of felt like it should have been a free to play. It's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good game. But I'm never going to play it again. And the thing is that it's got this kind of Mario Party 1, you have Peach's birthday cake. It's like that aesthetic. The entire game is that aesthetic, and you just roll, and it's like a like a marble run game, and you're just racing against your friends or the AI, and you get to the end first, and you win. So it's like part kart racer, part Mario Party minigame. There are some like minigames in the game that admittedly I didn't try out and don't have much interest in trying out. I imagine if I had a young child, this might be a fun game to play with them. Or maybe if I had some friends over for and wanted some drunken shenanigans, that might be an okay time to put on. But there's no variation to it. But there's different maps, I guess. But it's the same game, and all of the maps are the same, like cake aesthetic thing going on, slash food sometimes, not cake. I don't know.
So kind of what you're saying is like you're probably not going to play it again.
No. Kind of felt ripped off that I spent like
oh no
$15 on it, but it's
when I first saw the trailer for it, I was like, this looks kind of fun. I could get down with this.
It's
but then
fine.
It
There's
came
nothing
out and
wrong
nobody
with
was
it.
talking about it anymore.
Yeah,
like,
it died off
the
very
hype
quickly.
died as soon as it came out. So
yeah, it's definitely one of I don't know what it is about Kirby, but Nintendo just loves throwing Kirby onto these, like, I don't know, it's like somebody's intern passion project or something. And it's like, well, make it a Kirby game.
Yeah,
But
very
that's the thing, right?
experimental
Like,
with Kirby.
Yeah.
a lot of my favorite games for like Game Boy are like the Kirby spin-offs, like Pinball Land, Block Ball, Star Stacker,
Yeah.
that just came out of nowhere, and they didn't have to be Kirby, but they are, and they're actually really damn good.
Yeah, Pinball Land is one of my favorite Game Boy games, actually.
Is it really?
Yup.
So that's one that like nobody talks about. I feel
great.
like you and I are the only people.
So
Tyler, have
good.
you played that?
No, I haven't. Sounds like I should.
It is, sir. It is. Did you say shit or the shit?
I think he said,
Yeah, totally. So, oh man, that sounds like a shit.
No, sorry, I said what I thought I said was, it sounds like I should.
Oh.
That is not what you said.
That may be a new
All right.
phrase
Yeah.
for your show here. That
Yeah,
this game
listeners.
is
Yeah, roll that back and vote on your phones what you think Tyler said. We've had one of these before, haven't we?
Vote now on your phones. What did Tyler say?
no, it definitely said
Yeah, you definitely did.
Anyway, bottom line is, it feels to me like Nintendo wanted their own Fall Guys, so they did this, except they didn't do it.
They should have had a promotion with Disney's The Jungle Book franchise. if
For
they wanted
real.
that.
I mean, everybody knows that's what sent Fall Guys through the roof, right? That's what made
Yeah.
that into just a standard game into a bussin' game.
from standard to bussin'.
The Krabby Dream Buffy story.
When you buy a new car, it's like, do you want manual or automatic or bussin'?
I always want the manual. I don't like that cars don't have manuals these days. I want something to smell on my way home, you know?
Matthew, what have you been playing?
So I'm the resident retro boy, I suppose. Well, I'm gamer David. He's done a retro or two here or there. But between Tyler and me, usually when we talk about the games that we've been playing, Tyler's like, I've been playing this game that's only like 6 months old, and I'm like, I've been playing this game that's from 1981. So the past couple of weeks, I started a couple of months ago, and I'm so unhappy that I let it sit for so long, but I played Penguin Land on Sega Master System.
Oh, nice.
Do either one of you know what that is?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So for the uninitiated, Penguin Land is a puzzle platformer where you play as Overbite, the leader of a special penguin task force. I got that from the back of the box. And you have to move an egg from the top of the stage down to the bottom. So it scrolls vertically. And the egg can only fall so far before it breaks, and there are enemies and obstacles, and you can break ice blocks to get the egg down further in like staircase patterns.
Yeah, it's a little
honestly
ice
very fun.
climbery, but you're going down.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very fun, but it's incredibly challenging. And as much as I enjoy it, I don't think it's designed very well. It is very frustrating.
Nintendo's summer lineup is Wii Sports again and Ice Climbers, but going down.
Oh, but see, this is for Sega Master System, so so Nintendo's gonna have to catch up. They can't produce a game with the kind of quality that Penguin Land for the Sega Master System can provide.
Impossible. Though I think it was on the Game Boy. Was there a Game Boy version?
There are Penguin games on Game Boy. There's like Amazing Penguin and there's Penguin Wars, but I have no idea if they're the same game.
There's got to be a Penguin Land on Game Boy. There's got to be. I just feel like there is.
maybe.
Okay, I'm looking up Penguin Land on Google Images. We have
Yeah.
Penguin Land, the Mega Cartridge. Penguin Land, the 2019 animated feature.
Hello.
Penguin Land, the board game on BoardGameGeek.com. Penguin Land on Game Boy. Here we go.
He
Oh,
strikes again.
GameBoyWorks.com. Yep, it exists.
It's not the same game, is it?
I don't know. I haven't played it, dude.
There's
I
no.
can't tell you.
I'm just saying, like, based on the time that it came out, that Penguin Land was a Sega property, right? So they must have just made another Penguin Land and popped it on Game Boy. Who's they? I don't know.
It's a common enough name.
I guess so.
Look at some screenshots. See if it looks like he's moving an egg around on ice.
Yeah, it says
Yeah.
a port of the Sega R&D2 game Doki Doki Penguin Land.
Boom.
No way! That's really cool.
Game Dave
Penguin
in the
Land
clutch.
and Penguin Land and Head On are the only Sega properties to see release on the original Game Boy. There you go.
Gosh, you're
Wow.
welcome.
I wonder why they chose Penguin Land. Thank you. Honestly, I'm kind of glad for that. It's now, I wonder if it plays better than the Master System version. It's frustrating, man. It's 50 stages, and each stage probably only takes maybe about 4 or 5 minutes to complete. So it's not a long game, but it only takes about 4 or 5 minutes to complete if you can actually finish the stage. There's a lot of trial and error, and it wears my patience pretty thin. And I consider myself a patient person, so that didn't go so well for me. Instead, I was like, oh god, what am I going to play next? I just want something to cleanse my palate and make me feel better. So I went over to our boy, the Game Boy, home of Penguin Land, apparently.
Yes. At least in Japan.
Yeah, and I loaded up Mega Man 4, which I've played before but never beat on the Game Boy. So that was a nice palate cleanser. I really enjoyed that experience.
As somebody who's never played the Mega Man Game Boy games, I've played the NES games, but not the Game Boy games. How different are we talking?
So they were developed by different companies. They were still published by Capcom, but they were all developed by other people. And the physics of the Mega Man Game Boy games is a little bit more slippery, not as tight as the NES games, but it still feels like Mega Man. There's still like the classic rock, paper, scissors type of gameplay where you get a weapon, use that weapon on the next boss, and so on and so forth.
Are you still have like the same bosses that you have in the NES? Like you got Toadman and...
Yes. So none of the bosses are really new. They invented some new side bosses and side characters for the Game Boy games. For example, there's Anchor in Mega Man 1 for Game Boy, and there's a Quint, who I think is in Mega Man 2 on Game Boy? I can't remember. And Ballade and other names like that no one's ever heard of before, because I think few people have dove into the Mega Man Game Boy games.
They are not cheap games to collect.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
The first one's okay, but once you start to get up to like Mega Man 2 and then further on, they start to become exorbitant.
2 is the only one I have for the Game Boy.
Yeah, me too.
Have you played it though? Like
Hell no.
Dave, what about you?
Yes, I have my childhood copy still. I've never beaten it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's okay. I enjoy the Mega Man Game Boy games, but they're just nothing like the NES counterparts.
No.
Sometimes they change the music, other times they keep it the same and make it more Game Boy, so it's a little bit slower.
Let's go off the rails. Best NES Mega Man game. Favorite, go.
6.
2.
6, correct. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Damn. Oh, damn. 6 is good.
Yeah.
They're all good. There's none of them that I don't like.
I mean, only because I did a video on 6, I kind of have to say 6 is my favorite.
Yeah. Well,
It's just the one I
did see that
played
video
the
and I
most
love that
as a
video.
kid, I think.
Surprisingly, it's actually not the one I've played the most. I think the one I'm the most used to and familiar with is 5. But 6 is my favorite. There's something about it. I especially love the music.
It has a different feel than the other 5, I think.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
I feel
love
like
it.
by 6 they kind of like they knew what they were doing, like they.
I would hope so.
They figured it out, right? And so I feel like they probably had a little bit more autonomy as a dev team to be like, okay, like what else can we do,
Yeah. I just like how thick the black outlines on everything is in 6. It just everything feels much more cartoony and vibrant and alive in 6 than in all of the previous Mega Man games. It's a little bit difficult to describe, but that's just kind of the feeling I get when I think about it.
And I like the Rush adapters were fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I need to play those games again. It's been a minute.
It has been for me too. I have
What do
so
you
much
mean?
to
You just
play.
said you just played Mega Man 4.
No, I mean like the classic NES Mega Mans. I
Okay,
revisit
alright,
5
alright.
occasionally, but like the rest of them, I have so much to play that I don't revisit them that often. So I
Yeah,
should.
fair enough, fair enough. Is there a game that you revisit like really frequently?
Mega Man 5.
Really, like that's the one. I would say frequently, like every year. I would say probably about once a year I play Banjo Kazooie.
That's a hard question. Maybe Yoshi's Island, at the very least. Even if I don't beat it, I like to just pop it in
It's a good game.
once in a blue moon.
Pop
just-
it in. God
Yeah.
bless it.
What about you, Dave?
Super Mario World is probably my favorite Mario game. That's a fun one to always go back to. It's just such an easy game to drop in and get on. Super Mario
Yeah.
World, yeah, really good. Usually some Suikoden game I'll mess with each year, and occasionally a little PlayStation era Final Fantasy somewhere. I'll pop those in and mess around with my ridiculous saves for those.
Oh, you like play from like save files that you've already had? You don't start over from the beginning?
Yeah, rarely. A lot of times in my Final Fantasy game playing is I'll try to save. I'll do two things, because a lot of the PS1 era games, there's that, what my friends and I would call, like, this is the open world cutoff in the game, where if you go past this point, you can't go back and explore everything anymore.
Oh yeah, you'll get bottlenecked toward the ending.
Right. So, like in Final Fantasy VIII, I think, right, it might be right when you go to disc 4. I think you're basically stuck in certain areas and everything kind of changes in the world. But so a lot of times we would save right before we knew that was going to happen, and then just go through and beat the game. And then whenever we wanted to play it, we go back there and like level up or stat buff or just do insane grinding just because.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
yeah, like my Final Fantasy VII save that I still have is one where all of the weapons are still alive. Like, I didn't kill any of them, but I still have, like, master materia and everything because I just did it through grinding, and I, like, maxed out stats and everything before even going to the crater and fighting Sephiroth and all that stuff, so.
How old is that save file? That one you just described?
That was the most recent one I did. I was probably in college when I did that save. That was the big boy, and I have not started from the beginning since that one. And it's because I don't want to do that again. I don't want to morph a bunch of creatures into power sources to max everybody's stats to 255. But it's so broken now, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, if everybody's satisfied talking about video games, we can talk about video game news. That's cool with me.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it. We can talk about the gamer news with a Z.
Sure.
Gamer news, or it legally doesn't count.
It's with a Z. It's with a Z.
Well, I know not where I'm from.
There's two Americans in this chat. You're gonna have to give us a little leeway here.
All right, fine. Take it with your Z.
Thank you very much.
Jeez.
Anyway, please.
Oh, I feel so dirty. All right. Okay. We were saying before we started recording, gamer news these days, it's boring. it's boring.
They just kind of like have to pump something out.
Yeah, like there's like a news cycle, where it's like something's got to happen. Like I was reading the headlines while we were organizing this. It's like
it's gonna be good when you clear your throat before you say something.
Meta and Qualcomm sign pact on custom virtual reality chips. Microsoft confirms new Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family plan. Chrome OS is testing keyboard controls for Android games. IO Interactive signals interest in the mobile market. Microsoft pleads for its Activision Blizzard deal as UK regulator signals in-depth review. Like what? Like what? Like oh my god! Like
all right, thanks for joining us for the gamer news. That's everything.
Like a freaking 60-year-old dude sitting down, pulling out the paper, a cup of coffee, and you're reading the investment. Like I don't know, like who's reading this? I don't know. Anyway,
well, that's why we try to tailor the news to something that at least has a little bit to do with stuff we kind of sort of care about.
Like in television, or the shell of the former company known as
how about
television.
Konami renewing the Suikoden trademark recently?
Is that a thing?
Wait,
did that happen?
Do they just
oh my god
put a pachinko machine with that on it?
That does exist. There's actually a Suikoden 4 patchy slot machine, but it came out, Suikoden 4 era. But yeah, that's sort of the big news in my little JRPG world is that, Konami renewed the trademark for Suikoden. Doesn't necessarily
recent
mean
was
anything.
that?
I know they've been saying that they have big plans to revive, a classic series, but I highly doubt they're going to go with the niche of Suikoden out the gate. But, of course, they know it's something that has popularity with Aiden Chronicle coming out and being insanely successful from the original Suikoden devs. It kind of makes sense that they would want to secure and continue to maintain that trademark and not let it lapse, because I'm sure the Aiden Chronicle people would swipe that up if they could.
Yeah,
because Aiden Chronicle
for sure.
is 100% a Suikoden game in every way except name.
And I never played it, so I wouldn't know.
All right, well,
But
thanks for
now
having me on, guys. I'm going to head out here. Because
what I mean is, the whole reason why I made Dave kill that cricket earlier, that spricket earlier, is because it was preventing me from playing Aiden Chronicle, and now that it's dead,
well, that one's not even.
I
It's not even out yet, so that it's not. I thought you meant Suikoden. I was gonna flip out.
Oh no! I haven't beaten Suikoden, so maybe you can still leave the podcast.
There's
but
some
I played it.
confusion because they released Aiden Chronicle Rising, which is just a spin-off sort of teaser game. The big full game, Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes, wink wink, 100, really? 108, 100 Heroes? That comes out next year, officially.
Yeah.
So that will be super exciting for me. And
For whatever reason, I'm thinking, isn't there like a game on N64 that's like Aiden something?
Yeah, Aiden,
Right?
Aiden Chronicle.
I'm not wrong, right? That's a
No,
thing.
that does exist. I can picture it's a black cart.
Yes.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is not that. Is that what you thought?
Aiden-
For a second there, I was like, wait a
Chronicles,
second.
The
hang on.
First Mage.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap a picture of that on the screen so everybody knows I'm not crazy.
From THQ.
But, yeah, I love THQ. They made fantastic games for the N64, like Quest 64. Anyway,
It's interesting to me that Konami, I don't know, like Konami does this weird thing. Like it feels like every couple months Konami comes in the news because like something happened with one of their properties where like it gets gamers' hopes up like just a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit. Like what? Oh, like Konami like mentioned Silent Hill in passing. Oh my God! Does that mean it's finally happening? You know, like there's always like a little bit of a tease from Konami. They just manage just to kind of So we'll see. We'll see.
I just want to say I looked up Aiden Chronicles, the First Mage, on Wikipedia just so I could grab the box art for later. And there's one section of the Wikipedia article that's development and release, and it's one sentence, and it says, "The plot of Aiden Chronicles was scripted and designed by Angela Ferraiolo." So thank you, Ms. Ferraiolo. We really salute you.
If you're listening, we're so happy that you had that contribution to our wonderful hobby.
Yeah, definitely the game we're all looking forward to with its 47.36% score aggregate on game rankings.
If
Matt,
Konami
you wanna
was
tell us-
smart, because they did their Castlevania collection, they did their Contra collection. If they did a Suikoden collection port, that would make them a lot of money, especially if it was physical. But
Yeah, I'd
who
probably
knows?
buy it.
Especially with the prices too, because it's people have been priced out. So unless you're going to emulate at this point, Suikoden, even the first game has gotten. We were at RetroWorld Expo the other weekend, and even the first game forever. This first game was super common, $20 game, $25 game, maybe 30 mint, and then now it's getting up to like $100, which is just wild.
Yeah, brutal.
And Suikoden 2, I don't even want to know what that's at. Probably 200.
I finally bought myself a copy of Suikoden 1 because growing up I didn't have a PlayStation. I had to rely on friends. I didn't get a PlayStation until like 2009. But I had friends who had Suikoden and I was able to play it growing up, which is why I never beat it. And I finally did myself a service and bought it at MagFest this past year, so I'm going to go beat it and make you proud of me.
Good. Just in time for the HD collection from Konami.
Yeah.
That I think is the most they'll do. They're definitely not making a Suikoden 6. I really just think it's going to be, if there's anything Suikoden to be released or coming, it will be a collection much like Contra and Castlevania, in that same vein. because I'm sure it'll sell
Yeah.
well. I imagine it's not as mainstream as Castlevania or Contra, but I think there's enough interest. I mean, if you look at the Kickstarter for Eiyuden Chronicle, I mean, that alone tells you that people would buy this collection if it
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
well-
that's one of those things where like I would love to play that on Switch, right? Like I would love to have.
It's
you know,
perfect for Switch.
I'm so, I say that every episode, I'm sure. But
You
like, it
really
is.
do.
I freaking love playing games on Switch and just like laying in bed or whatever, right? Like I don't want to have to like go up to my CRT and play it on my PS1, right? Like, and also spend like $400 on a copy. So hell yeah, I'd buy that. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's do it.
Now, if they went really crazy, and it was because they were only, I mean, there were five mainline games, and they were
Yes.
all within the PS1 and PS2, which is kind of wild to think all of them are just within those two consoles. Even
Yeah,
the spin-off
like,
games,
roughly like a
'cause-
10-year span.
yeah, because you've got Suikoden Tactics, which was on PS2. You've got Suikoden, those two games, which are visual novels, which were only on PlayStation and only in Japan. So to do like official English translations, localizations of those two, and include those in the collection, girl, shoot.
What was the DS one?
That is like the only one that is not in the same timeline. Tierkreis, I think is how you pronounce it. Suikoden Tierkreis.
Whoa.
Yeah, it doesn't even have 108 characters, which is kind of weird because that's the whole thing. But I think it has like 90, maybe 80 or something. But yeah, that's one of the only ones that is not part of the world of all the other games.
It's its own thing. Its own thing.
Yep, I don't
Yeah.
even know if there's any. I don't think any characters recur in Tierkreis either. So
Interesting. Well, we won't expect that one in the collection, in the Switch collection.
no, I don't think
Or-
so. It'd be
Or
impressive.
Suikoden card stories for Game Boy Advance.
Now that one does have all the heck yeah, that would be nice because we also did not get that. That was a Japanese exclusive as well.
Japanese only. Yeah.
Game Boy Advance.
It's another one that I don't have, unfortunately. Not yet, at least.
It's good. It's fun little game. It's good looking. Good looking.
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Okay, we got to get to the news, Matt. I
News!
know you're really dying. You're dying to tell us
please.
about what's going on with Tommy Tallarico over at Intellivision.
Hold
Dave,
on, let
how-
me put
how
on my Game
initiated
Dave
are you?
shirt that he signed many years ago.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah. Gamer David, how are you? How up to date are you with news about the Amico? And I totally understand if it's not at all because nobody seems to care about this thing anymore.
Yeah, no, I have no interest in the actual Intellivision or the Amico, but I'm very aware of it because of. Sadly, I'm only aware of it because of the controversy.
Yeah, pretty much. So just to give you a little bit of a primer, our listeners already know this because we've talked about it a lot. I was very excited when it was first announced because I actually love the Intellivision. It's one of my favorite classic pre-NES consoles. And
How old are you?
when 30,
That doesn't make any. It would make more sense if I was into it than you.
well, that's the thing, right? I didn't grow up with the console.
old
when I
soul,
first
you.
discovered it. Dave,
Old
thanks.
soul.
That's just a way of saying that I'm into the things that your dad is into, right?
Or me.
AKA you're not busting.
Or
You're not
I'm
busting.
your dad
Oh,
now.
come on. I mean, if you'd like to be.
This dad is not
The
busting.
spot's open.
Dear Lord. Can we talk
dark.
about Intellivision, please?
Go on.
Absolutely. Of course, you're familiar with the controversy. All of our listeners are familiar with the controversy.
Yes, I'm very familiar. I'm very informed about the Intellivision Amico. I'm very
Yeah.
informed.
Well, you got to go by the Japanese name.
From Thomas Tellerico.
Tommy Tallarican. So recently I got an email in my beautiful gmail.com because I'm subscribed to all of the Intellivision Amico updates because I'm still doing this to myself. And without going into too much detail, essentially this email states that they are still working on getting problems fixed. They want to fix a bug in the controller firmware. But it turned out that actually wasn't the case somehow. Basically, the email goes on and says, one of the primary goals for the small pilot run of the Amico was to uncover any issues in the production pipeline before starting larger production. Which immediately, that's like the first sentence in, really. and it already strikes me as sad because we've been waiting for this console for about 3 or 4 years now.
You are the only one left who is waiting for this thing.
Did you reference the Wii U? Was that a Wii U reference?
Here at Nintendo.
There's literally... Okay, sure, maybe I'm the only human being left on this planet who's still looking forward to the Amico, but not for the reasons you might think. It's because I just don't want there to be this series of physical games that they don't have a console to go with.
Did you pre-order an Amico?
Yes, I did. I did cancel my pre-order after all of the controversy, and I did actually get my refund, unlike a lot of other people. But...
It's not coming out. It's not. It's not happening.
Oh yeah, it's like a 1% chance at this point.
I know. The main thing about this email that I took away from it is toward the bottom, it says, given that we will have a limited number of Amico units initially, these partnerships will get the games into more hands who have been waiting to play while helping get the word out to a larger audience. As stated above, we are doing everything we can to make sure that we have a stable system before starting production. And that strikes me a lot because, again, I'm going to say I have been waiting for this console for 3 or 4 years now since it was first announced, and we've just been promised again and again that it's in production, that they have units made, that everything is on the up and up, and it just keeps getting delayed, and now we're finally getting, well, sure, realistic, truthful, news from Phil Adam, the new CEO, that's straight up saying, hey, we actually don't have units in production. We're getting units in production. Sure, it's been 3 years and we've been telling you all this stuff, but we hope that you'll gloss over that when I send you guys this email. So
it ain't coming out, and I'm sick of talking about it.
That's honestly all I even wanted to mention about it. It's just I read the email once, and I immediately went to my buddy Chris, who also follows the Amico. So there's more than one of us in the United States, and he had nothing to say about it except, yeah, that shit ain't coming out, which is the same sentiment I'm getting today from the two of you. So we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Thank God. Wait until if the Intellivision Amico actually comes out and we can actually have one in our homes and play it. Matt, I will come to you. We will do a live episode of Super FX. I will fly to you for the occasion, specifically for that. They will ask me at the border, why are you traveling to the US? And I will say, because the Intellivision Amico came out and I'm going to go play it.
And they'll say, what's that?
And the border agent will be like, fair enough, say no more. He'll stamp my passport. I'll be on my way.
They'll be like, I've been waiting for that thing for 3 or 4 years
now. All right. And no more. Earlier in the episode,
that's literally all I wanted to say.
I was mad at you because you weren't talking about the Intellivision thing, and now you did talk about it, and I want you to stop. So we're going to move on. The Mario movie, the Chris Pratt Mario movie, there is a confirmation rumor thing that it got its title. The Mario movie will be titled Super Mario Brothers.
That tracks.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
That's it. That's the tweet.
Yeah. Parentheses 2023.
Yeah. Moving on. This is
That's the whole thing. Moving on. We're done.
We're done.
I know.
This is my. What? Do you guys want to talk about it? Fine. We can spend the next 10 minutes talking.
I just think it's really funny that, like, this is the news. This is all the news there is. Like, yeah, the Mario movie got a title. Anyway.
Okay, this is not even news, but I like this Sonic Frontiers headline from Twinfinite. Enjoying Sonic Frontiers will require an open mind.
Huh?
It just means it's bad.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah. I mean, my takeaway from that is we have to say something about it. What do we put? Oh, I don't know. Just I don't know. Tell them they'll like it. Oh no, we can't say that. That's way too forward.
This reads to me like somebody at Sega, the Sega like marketing guy, the PR guy at Sega, like had a gun to this person's head and was saying like, you don't have to say that it's good, but you can't say that it's bad. And so the guy was like, oh my God, enjoying Sonic Frontiers will require an open mind.
Do you know what that reminds me? It's like when somebody has a child and they're like really close friends with you, so you want to go and like see their kid and support them and say congratulations, and they just have like the ugliest baby in the world, so you have to tell them that the child is, oh, he's very alert. He looks very alert.
Okay, I think you're the only one who's gonna do that. You're the only one who's doing it.
Dave, back me up, please.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be. That is a tough one. Because they really are. I think the problem is most babies are not great looking babies.
I certainly wasn't.
But you just gotta get through that awkward phase, and
I'm still working through it.
But I think when it's yours, you're just like, oh yeah, he's so cute. And then even
he
I'll look
looks so
back
good.
at like those first pictures, I'm like, oh man, he was weird looking. Actually, thank God he doesn't look like that now. I think.
Oh man, are you talking about your own son? I hope he doesn't listen to this.
Well, son, sorry.
We're really sorry that your father came onto this bit podcast, this B-side podcast, to talk about how he thinks you're ugly.
Wild looking cat.
Yeah, definitely. Great looking dad, though. Honestly.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Trying, doing my best.
Indeed. I guess we all hope that Sonic Frontiers ages like a human.
Just end that sentence right there.
Ages like a human. Yeah.
I want that sentence to end right there.
It starts ugly and progresses on to be maybe not ugly, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Enjoying a human requires an open mind.
Okay. Last up. This is pre-news. There's a Pokemon trailer coming out tomorrow for the new Pokemon games. I could care less. But Matt, I know you're a big Poke guy. You're a resident Poke guy.
Have you played Pokemon? Are you like familiar with Pokemon?
As far as
other
I'm
than
concerned,
just the fact that it exists.
There are only 151 Pokemon, and it will thusly remain that. I'm a red, blue, and just a little bit of yellow, which you don't even really need. That is my world of Pokemon, and I loved it, and that was enough for me.
Okay, I've kept up with Pokemon. I wouldn't call myself like a die-hard Pokemon fan, but I really enjoy it, and I love to 100% games. So regardless of how much I love Pokemon, I still suffocate myself by trying to complete the Pokedex.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem, because it's not like the new Pokemon game has every Pokemon in it, right? Don't they leave some out now?
That's something
that's the controversy,
that we were about to talk about. Yeah, with Sword and Shield, the last games that came out, they announced for the first time in the series that they were no longer doing the full national Pokedex with every single Pokemon, and there was huge outcry and backlash. For me personally, I didn't get mad or upset or anything, but it was a bummer.
It kind of defeats. Isn't that the whole purpose of the game? Is to quote?
Yeah, how can you catch them all if them all ain't there? How can I be Ash catch them if they am them ain't? I can't talk today. They ain't there.
So Matt, are you saying as somebody who is I don't want to say you desire to complete it, but I feel like you're just kind of like you have this like masochistic need to complete it. I would agree with that.
Are
you hopeful that they're all going to be in there, or if they reveal that everybody's here, if they reveal that, are you then like taking the day off, down in a couple tums, and like wallowing in knowing that you have this like massive task ahead of you?
Well, first of all, I'm a Pepto-Bismol man, and secondly, I think it's a combination of, oh, cool, the whole National Dex is, oh, shit, the whole National Dex is in here. It's, I appreciate it just because of the familiarity and the staying with the same formula that we've been accustomed to all this time. Whenever games change formulas, I have this two-pronged reaction, where half of me is like, oh, no, change. It's human to resist change, and so I must do so. But then on the other token, I'm like, okay, this is kind of fresh and new and exciting. Let's see where it goes.
How many are missing?
That's the thing. When Sword and Shield came out, I never saw any like number that said how many Pokemon were in the games or / how many Pokemon were not in the game. And the reason why I'm talking about this and why I'm referencing Sword and Shield is because the new games coming out, Scarlet and Violet, I don't think it's been said yet. I've Googled it, but they still haven't said whether that is still going to be the case in Generation 9, if they're not going to have the national decks. I wonder if maybe they're timid to mention it.
Which means
I
they
don't know.
probably are leaving some out.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I was gonna say, like, how much of a selling point is that these days, really, right? Like the kids who are buying these games, like the core market for these games, like how much do they really care that random ass Pokemon no one's ever heard of from Gen 4 isn't in it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, all I know is I'm going to enjoy the game either way. But when it comes down to 100%,
Yeah, that's what you said about the Amico.
Stop. When it comes to 100% in the game, whoever who knows when that's going to be. I will. I'll have to grapple with it then. Am I going to have to get almost 1,000 Pokemon, or is it going to be more than 1,000 by the time this game comes out? I can't even remember how many Pokemon there are.
Too many Pokemon.
Yeah. If only there were just 108, that would be way easier.
Now there is a good number. What is your favorite Pokemon?
That's an interesting question, actually. Because I always have an interesting answer. No one cares about my favorite Pokemon. It's Magmar.
No, I mean that's fine because it's in the original 151. So it's fine with me.
Well, what is yours?
Poliwhirl.
Okay,
Ooh.
that's one I never hear.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, something about not even for any reason because you'd be like, oh, why not Poliwrath? I don't know. I don't like Poliwrath as much. I like Poliwhirl. That's a specific version of the evolution.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like, why not Magmortar? Why not Magby? Well,
because
I love
neither
Magmar.
of those
It's so
are in the 151.
Yeah,
Sir.
You heard it here first. Game Dave's favorite, Matt's favorite Pokemon is Magmar because it's in the original 151.
Yeah, like don't backtrack and be like, oh well, actually before it became with it was actually pre-evolution.
What about you, Tyler? What's your favorite Pokemon? I feel we've known each other so long, and I actually don't know the answer to this.
I'm a Charizard man.
Ooh,
Wow.
He's cool.
Fire.
We've all made some
Fire
good
Bros
choices
together.
here. My little water boy is
Yeah.
getting beat.
well, I mean, technically speaking, he smacked the crap out of the two of us, but
That's true. He is more effective.
it's true. Unless Charizard decides to use some flying move, then it might not go so well. But
This is typically
wait. Poliwhirl's not fighting type. That's Poliwrath has fighting type, right?
Wow, man, I
Yes.
thut you were the Poke fan. Jeez, that's embarrassing.
Amateur.
I love Digimon. What can I say?
Wow.
More of a Monster Rancher fan.
No.
This is typically the part of the show where we talk about our kind of recent game collecting pickups or stories or tales from the retro game world. We don't have a ton of time. We've had a lot of laughs tonight, so we don't have a ton of time to do a ton of those stories or any long ones. So if you guys want, what we can do is just have like a little short little nibbling little tidbit from each of us. I can start. What I got for y'all is that I did my very first game sale. I did a table at a local game sale. I've been to a lot of game sales. I've been to a lot of cons, expos, and the like, of which I've purchased many a game. So it was very interesting to be on the other side of that transaction for once. I have a lot of, I was mostly getting rid of doubles or, maybe some higher value items that, I didn't have a place for in my collection kind of thing. But I also have a lot of console doubles. I brought bins of, Genesises and N64s and, DSs and things that I just have accumulated over the years. And I did not sell a single console.
Huh.
Nobody was buying consoles.
Did you sell games?
I did sell games. My kind of my biggest sale was I had a guy, guy that you'd probably get along with, Matt, as he was a Poke fan and made me know he was a Poke fan. He bought my copy, or a double I had of Soul Silver, which was kind of my biggest sale of the day. And I did sell a couple other, everything. Well, most of what I sold was just common stuff. Donkey Kong 64. I had a couple of those and that kind of thing. But I was just miffed that I hauled ass with these bins of consoles and I didn't sell a single dang one of them. I did have one guy come up and inspect my Xbox for a while. And then eventually ask me, hey, is it okay if I look at the serial number of the Xbox? And I was like, you may. Because he wanted whatever variant, whatever revision model that he wanted.
Yeah, that has like a specific CD drive and a specific, yeah,
exactly. It turned out to not be the one he wanted. And I made the mistake of mentioning that I had some other Xboxes at home that I had not brought to the sale. And he made sure to give me his phone number and let me know, hey, when you have a chance, let me know the serial numbers of what Xboxes you have.
The one that you brought, was that the haunted one?
No, that one I would not. I would hate to, bestow that upon somebody without their knowledge. I would feel like an absolutely terrible person. I would feel worse about that than I would feel about killing a bug. So,
yeah, me too. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, that's a story for another time. Matt, Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, Dave, you want to go first?
Well, my most recent pickupification would have been at RetroWorld Expo 2022. Yeah. I got some common stuff mostly. I think in terms of just wheeling and dealing, I think the most interesting story would be that at one of the booths, it was Sunday, so that's like the deal making day because it's the last day of the convention, getting towards the afternoon. Oh, yeah. And
another man after my own heart.
Yes, I was at this table and there were couple of Game Boy games, PlayStation game, couple of NES games. I was trying to do a nice bundadoo and get a good deal, and he did give me a good deal. And he was like, I can do this deal if you can do cash, because obviously cash is king. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think I can do that. And I looked in my wallet, and I was short. I did not have that amount of cash left, and I was not going to get more out. And so I asked the fella if he was thirsty.
Oh, you bought him a drink?
And I was like, if I'll go get you a soda if you just take the amount of cash I have left here. And he said, all right. He said, no Pepsi, Coke, or Mountain Dew within the hour. Very New York, wow. New Jersey. And I was like, all right, you have a deal, sir. And then I went and got him a Mountain Dew at the convenience, or this little convenience stand.
Is that exactly how he said it too? He was like, within the hour?
Yes, he was very he was like, yeah, just bring it to me within the hour. I was like, Jesus. Right.
I figured you'd probably be like, I'll get it right now. Like,
yeah, I did. I was like, I literally am just going to walk over here where you can purchase fountain drinks, bro. I'm not going to go out of my way to find a Coke in this trash Pepsi town that I'm in where everything is Pepsi. What is going on? I'm used to Coke everywhere.
What did you get from him?
I got Deathbots, which is an unlicensed NES game, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Played that on stream. I got Romance of the Three Kingdoms 6 for PlayStation.
Ooh,
I got Hyankyo Alien for Game Boy. It's a very good game.
Oh, yeah. That's one I see a lot, and I never knew what it was for the longest time. I finally have it myself. I bought it recently.
Very fun. It almost has like a Bomberman feel to it to an extent. Or, well, maybe a little more Dig Dug, I don't know.
Yeah.
Top Gun, Guts and Glory, terrible, absolutely terrible game. Top Gun on the Game Boy, nope, don't do it. Casper by Natsume for Game Boy, which is a game that no one seems to talk about. Also, there are two versions of Casper for the Super Nintendo as well, and one of them is Natsume, and it's very interesting. It's almost like Clock Tower the way it plays. But save that for
Casper, as in like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Save that for Super Family Corner.
Sure.
And what else did I get? Two other games that I don't I like stupid monster truck games, so I got a monster truck game for Game Boy, and it was actually hilarious. It played like Micro Machines. It's very fun.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it was good. It was a good deal. It was my final deal of the expo.
Nice. You gotta love those like last minute bundle deals.
Yeah, for me, I was gonna say, like, those last minute deals are what I thrive on. When it's like 5 minutes until we're about to all get in the car, go get dinner, and then drive all the way back to Long Island, and I'm just like, no, I gotta spend like my last $45 on something.
Yes.
And I'm just like, hey, listen, you have this for 70. Please, God, do 45. And they'll usually say no, but then I'll be like, all right, Jackie, can I borrow $5? He'll do 50. But yeah, no, I went to RetroWorld Expo as well, where I finally got a copy of Dragon Warrior 3, which I'd slept on for way too long, and I call myself a collector.
Pricey.
Yeah, it was. He had it priced for $130, which is a little bit above what I wanted to pay, but he came down to, I think, $115 if I remember correctly, and that was okay with me because it was only just the slightest bit above what it was going for online. But the biggest thing that I really wanted to talk about with my recent pickups, because we've been on hiatus, as our listeners will know, while we prepped for season 2, and over the last couple of months, I've actually gotten quite a few really nice things. I went to visit Rachel. You guys, I've talked about Rachel on the show. I went to visit Rachel in Minnesota, and before I went to visit her, she sent me this care package with games from her childhood. She's like, I don't play these anymore, and I just want to give them to you, give them a good home, and if I want to play them with you, I'll visit you, we'll play them together, or you can bring them to play with me. And there's a bunch of like rare and incredibly uncommon PlayStation 2 horror games, like the Fatal Frames.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, Siren. She got me Silent Hill Shattered Memories. She actually bought that one for me, which I don't deserve, but thank you, Rachel. But the two biggest things that I got from her when I visited her at the end of July, we were just hanging out, and we were going to play some scary games together. So I was going to hook up. I brought my PlayStation 2 with me, and I was going to hook it up, and we were going to play the Shattered Memories that she bought me because it's my favorite horror game. I just didn't own a copy for PlayStation 2. And when I went to grab the copy of Silent Hill Shattered Memories that I had brought with me, I noticed there were 2 other games underneath it that I didn't bring with me. So I looked at them, and they were Kuon and Rule of Rose.
Whoa.
Two more like incredibly expensive and rare PS2 horror games, which were also part of her childhood collection. So she didn't spend any extra money out of pocket, but the fact that they're this expensive, and she knows how expensive they are, I've told her, and she wanted to give them to me. Rachel, I love you. Thank you so much. I don't deserve this kind of kindness.
Sounds like someone's got a little sugar mama.
Listen, if she wants to give me a bunch of video games that cost a lot of money, I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna be mean? But I may have cried.
Whoa.
But, yeah. Well, you know me. I'm an emotional gamer.
That's a real rose.
I'm an emotional gamer. But yeah, definitely wasn't expecting those. So thank you, Rachel. They're sitting on my shelf, and I look at them every day. Because I have to. That's what I do. It's my job. I'm a video game collector. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. But, this is the part of the show where we usually say that'll do it. But, Dave, I want to give you a chance to plug your stuff so that our 6 listeners know where to find you.
Oh. All right, 6 of you. Listen up and listen good. GameDave.com. That's all you need to know. That'll get you there.
Will it actually? Does that redirect to your YouTube channel?
It does, yeah, GameDave.com.
Oh.
Pretty much search GameDave and you'll find, GameDave.com, twitch.tv/GameDave. I stream every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And YouTube videos come out when I can do it.
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap up?
Nope.
Should I take that for a no? Okay.
I think we nailed it.
All right, cool. Dave, thanks a lot for coming on the show. It meant a lot to me that you wanted to be a part of this.
Hey, of course.
Yeah. But that'll do it, guys, for the show. To learn more about Super FX, please visit our website, superfxpodcast.com. Season 2 now. We're going to have some cool stuff on the horizon. You can find our show wherever you find your other favorite podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, and we're on Spotify. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, at SuperFXPodcast. As always, reach out with any comments or questions on social media. Send us an email to hi@superfxpodcast.com. That's hi@superfxpodcast.com. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, consider doing what Rachel Johnson is doing. Not only just giving me Kuon and Rule of Rose, but becoming a patron at patreon.com/superfxpodcast. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a like, hit that subscribe, smash that bell, leave a comment, whatever the YouTube sphere is doing these days. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, help us out by rating and reviewing our show. Special thanks to Kenny Martin for our theme song. You can find him at Kenma, that's Kenma, that's knma.bandcamp.com. The words, they fail me tonight. But special thanks to you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.